Hello and welcome to TWS On the Road. We are on our way to TNA in London and we're very excited, aren't we, Dan?
Oh, hi, yes, I'm over here. Hi, I'm Dan. That was Cybil. We are the Total Wrestling Show and we're live every week at totalwrestlingshow.com Sunday and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. And this is a very special, very unique TWS On the Road. Normally podcast, but this time it's video cast. So we're recording you physically, as Cybil said, on the road, on the M3. There you go. Heading towards London, to Wembley Arena, to watch TNA Lockdown UK Tour, the Road to Lockdown. TV tapings for Impact being recorded tonight at Wembley Arena. And we're really excited. Aren't we, Cybil?
We're very excited. I'm especially excited to see Aries and Rude.
Doing spoilers, so Cubby is now your new tag team champions, literally as of last night. So from our point of view, the only concern I think I've got personally is what difference will we have with regards to the fact that we're 3 weeks behind with the tapings? Is that going to affect our enjoyment watching this?
I think we might be a little bit confused, but when with TNA have we not been confused?
Well, yeah, that's okay. Some of the storylines, I think they've got better since Russo's gone, let's be honest. But yes, okay, fair comment.
Will Aces and Eights be there?
Now I can confirm that Aces and Eights are in attendance tonight. The whole group is over. So we had an unmasking last night, which we missed at Manchester. Will we see anything different tonight at Wembley? Will we see a member unmasked? And will they be involved? You've got to assume over 2 TV tapings, they're going to be involved, I would say. From our point, what I'm really curious about seeing is the difference between the house show tapings, which is what we normally go to see every year, and this is our first TV taping. Now, what difference can we expect between the two? Would we expect this to be more disjointed? Will this be more heavy on the promos and less on the actual wrestling? And that is a concern, because I must admit, one thing that TNA is known for from their house shows is good quality, exciting wrestling. And that's what we hope we'll get tonight, as well as some good promos. But as we know, TV shows, not just within TNA, but WWE as well, are also very heavy on the promos to build to the next pay-per-views. So it's going to be interesting to see how TNA cope with that tonight at Wembley Arena. Really, we're going to take it very short and sweet. We'll be back with our next copy, hopefully at Wembley Arena, and hopefully with Andy, who'll be joining us live.
Who?
Andy.
Who?
Andy. He's our producer and co-host of the Wednesday shows. And he will join us live at the arena. We'll give our thoughts on what the build for TNA Lockdown UK Tour is all about. Stay tuned. TWS rolls on straight to Wembley.
Hey, bye. It's on now.
Welcome to TWS On the Road, and we are outside Wembley Arena for TNA Impact's tour of the UK. The last night of TV recordings on a Friday night. No, it's Saturday night. We are here, and I'm not here alone. Cybil's here, but also we have someone who's almost a completely brand new wrestling fan. Let me just bring in someone who's not on the show very often. He appeared on our Stag Do many moons ago, on our special Stag Do. This is my father. This is Barney. So hello to the viewers.
Hello viewers.
Are you this your first wrestling event?
First wrestling event.
Ever. So, what are you looking forward to? Or aren't you?
I'm looking forward to everything that goes on. How it goes about, how it works, how the story behind it all. I hope you're going to tell me.
That could take a while. So, from your point of view, who in Impact Wrestling do you know? Do you know any names?
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan's an obvious one. Anyone else? This is going to be a real... Undertaker. Well, he's not here tonight, unfortunately. That's a completely different organisation.
Oh, right.
But we'll obviously give them an education as the show goes on. We might even get Barney's opinions of the show towards the end. Almost get like a fresh fan's view on it, on a TV taping. See how different it is to a normal house show. Stay tuned. We're going to try and get our tickets. We're going to try and find Andy as well, who's gone missing at the moment. He's MIA. And we'll be back with TWS On the Road from Wembley Arena very shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back to TWS On the Road at Wembley Arena, down here, and look what I found. I've been looking for him.
Who?
Andy, midweek Andy.
Yeah, I'm here. He's in a haircut.
Part-timer, Andy.
There you go, from his own girlfriend's mouth. We are here at Wembley Arena.
You and I can have words later, right?
And as you can see, as the camera wants to pan around, it is heaving in here.
So what, it's fair to say it's better than when we came to SmackDown?
Yeah, definitely. we were here at SmackDown, December time last year, and definitely busier. The merchandise is selling crazy. A TNA shirt, I believe. The James Storm shirt is there. So, there's been a chance to predict things like this. Me and Cybil and Chant talk about the road, but are you excited for tonight?
I can't wait. This is my fourth TNA tour since they started coming out. I think Maximum Impact 5. Second TV taping. This is going to be a good one. Intrigued to find out the spoilers from last night. I already know what's happened. Some big things happening in TNA.
Absolutely.
Week 1 and week 2. What's going to happen in week 3 and week 4.
Have you been to an Impact TV taping before?
Yeah.
My first time I've been to all the house shows, a TV taping.
Yeah.
What can I expect? What's different?
Very TV regimented.
Right.
So you will be getting promo after promo, then you'll be told to go into ad break, and then you get a match and then ad break. It's a lot different experience from what you get on the house show. It's not bang, 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 bang. They regiment it just like they would if you were watching it on TV.
So can we expect, will they film it necessarily in order?
Yeah.
Right, so we're getting it in order. So we won't be necessarily disjointed from that point of view.
Once the interval happens, that will be the end of week 1. When they come back from the interval, that will be week 2. Or in our case, week 3, week 4.
Right.
So that's what you can expect. Now we already know from the spoilers that Aces and Eights are in the building tonight.
We want to deny any rumours that one of us may be joining Aces and Eights.
Where is Steve?
Good point. Maybe he's going to be under a mask later on tonight. But we'll give you our thoughts and opinions probably after the first interval. We'll get back together and we'll give you our thoughts about the first show.
Try and find each other.
Try and find each other. We're seated separately, so there's a big thumbs up as far as I'm concerned. And we will give you our thoughts on the show. Stay tuned, more on the road, rolling on at TWS Live on YouTube. Right, it's the morning after the night before, and we're here in a very special location.
Absolutely.
Yeah. South Croydon, and we are basically just going to very quick rundown of our thoughts of the event from last night, TNA Impact tapings at Wembley. Now, Barney, it was your first ever wrestling event live.
It was, yes.
And your thoughts? Did you enjoy it? Did you? Are you a converted fan?
Oh, well, I wouldn't quite say I'm converted at the moment, but I take my hat off to them. The athleticism, the fitness of these wrestlers is second to none.
Right.
I was really impressed with the way they went around the ring. You could see there was a bit of showmanship there and thing, but overall I was really impressed. And the, what was it, nearly 4 hours was there, 3.5 hours, just flew by, so I must have been enjoying it.
That's a good point you bring up there, because it was, I think, 3.5, nearly 4 hours between the shows. Now, there was no interval.
No, there wasn't.
In there. Now, from my point of view as an experienced wrestling fan, I was feeling burnt out towards the end. Your point of view, you know, bear in mind you're new to the product. Were you waning towards the end of the card?
I think I was. I think I mentioned you. I'm glad. Obviously, I was glad you were with me because I hadn't a clue who they were, apart from 1 or 2 of them. Yes, I was weaning a bit at the end because, again, there was 2 shows being filmed for 2 separate weeks, and it was the same wrestlers coming back again. So and that to me took a little bit of the shyness of it all, but it was brilliant. It was the audience, the passion of the audience was made me laugh. It really was fantastic. I was sorry. I was hoping to see Hulk Hogan fight because they did say he was going to fight, and he didn't.
Yes.
Which is a bit of a, to me personally, that's a bit disappointing because he was the one I know obviously the best. So that was a bit of a shame. But overall, yes, I did enjoy it. I understand it a bit better now. I went there to try and understand it because you're my son, and I want to know what you're doing, what your passion is. And yes, it was. It was good.
Did you find it more difficult because there was no kind of, because obviously you didn't know any storylines?
No, I didn't. No.
Even from my point of view, I was discussed before. I was 3 weeks behind. Did that make it more difficult from your point of view?
I think it did. Yeah. I mean, you've got to appreciate what's going on with the storylines and understand what it's all about there. Because if you weren't there with me telling me bits and pieces, I wouldn't have a clue what was going on. Obviously, these people shouting and bawling at each other and thinking, what's it all about? But I mean, yeah, to understand it's got to be better.
Yes, I agree, and I think generally we'll get on to mine and Cybil's review of the event very shortly. But generally speaking, it was a good event.
Absolutely,
now,
yeah.
From your point of view, a couple of questions. One, would you go back again?
I think I would, yeah. Yeah.
And 2, will you be watching Impact Wrestling on Challenge TV 9 p.m. over here in the UK on Sunday?
Might well do. I wouldn't say for certain, but I might well do. What I would say now, where I used to flick through the channels and maybe there was wrestling on, and I would probably just flick it, sit for a couple of seconds. I'll probably watch it now because I appreciate more who's on there now.
Yeah.
So,
So
in that
slightly
respect,
converted then?
Yes, I think you could say slightly converted, yes.
Will you be buying a wrestling t-shirt next time? Can we see you with a Hulk Hogan t-shirt?
Oh, if anyone is my hero, it's Hulk Hogan, because obviously he's the most well-known one of it all. But I don't know, that the prices seem quite high, don't they?
They were definitely a competitive price, let's say that much.
Yes.
At the event.
But if that's what you want, that's fine. You go for it.
So what was your highlight of the night? Let's finish on that. What was your kind of highlight? What was your favourite moment or kind of buzz?
Well, I've got to say, I've said it several times during this interview. Got to be seeing Hulk Hogan to me. I mean, he is, the one I know better, and I wanted to see him.
Nostalgia.
I was really disappointed that he didn't come out and fight. I know the reasons probably why he didn't, but I was.
If he wasn't on the tour, do you think that would have necessarily maybe made the tour a bit more boring from your point of view? Because you have someone you can connect with, someone who kind of transcends wrestling into entertainment, someone who's known them in the wider world.
Well, I didn't know he was going to be on it when I booked the tickets, so he apparently came on afterwards. But yeah, to me, it made him being there. But I mean, I would have still gone and watched it because I wanted to go and see it and experience it.
Okay. Stay tuned. More is coming up from On the Road. Myself and Cybil will journey back down to the south, and we'll give you our thoughts on the event. Stay tuned. And we're here for the final part of TWS On the Road. We're on the way back, literally on the M3 again. Myself and Cybil. You do the mime one now, eh? Do about mime? Yeah. Okay. And we're basically travelling back down south after a late night and a long drive up here. But I think it's been worth it, generally speaking. An enjoyable experience going to TNA Live. What do you say, Cybil?
Absolutely, I loved it myself. I don't know whether I think I loved it more because it was not a house show.
So was that? I mean, that's one thing we will discuss now briefly. I mean, we've always been to house shows. It's our first TV tapings. I personally prefer the house shows. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm really glad to have this experience and opportunity to see what it's felt like to be a TV taping, my first time. But you preferred this more than a house show? Yeah,
it was more exciting. It was faster. It was as if they put a little bit more effort into it.
Okay, well, there was very little in the way of. There was some promos, but not as much as we expected. Obviously, a lot of the backstage stuff I would assume we recorded probably back in the States, or maybe was recorded backstage there. But the actual ring work, matches themselves in the ring were fairly strong. I felt there was some good ring work in there. The guys worked hard. I think obviously your excitement was possibly heightened by the way you were sitting and the people you were sitting with.
Yeah, I was very lucky. I got in the same area, not beside, as Wrestle Talk TV and Alpha Female and Nikki Storm. Couldn't have asked for better seats.
Yeah, very lucky that Cybil was part of the press pack and was involved with the Wrestle Talk TV guys. Check out Facebook, TWS Live on Facebook. That's facebook.com/TWS Live for the photos of Cybil with some of the Wrestle Talk guys and girls, as well as Alpha Female, Rhea O'Reilly and Nikki Storm. Nice to see Ian Logan there as well, another British upcoming, and Andy Simmons as well in the crowd.
Yeah.
It was a big British wrestling contingent was there. Obviously, a lot of them had to cheer on the British boot camp boys and girls.
Wasn't it good to see them? Spud in the ring, Marty,
the Blossoms.
And the Blossoms, brilliant. It was really weird to see them in such a big surroundings. I know we've watched them on the programme and we've spoken to them, and
we've been very lucky enough to meet them live in person at some live events.
It was awesome to see them all there. Brilliant.
And very, very enjoyable. On a side note, it was broke on our Facebook page first, TWS Live, that Marty Skull took a nasty suicide dive to the outside onto Jesse without giving away spoilers of the actual match. Clearly connected with the barrier, knocked himself silly. The refs came down. The Blossoms were there at the side of the ring for a very long time. He got up and walked out under his own steam, which is really good news. Looked dazed, looked a little bit confused.
So hopefully you just give himself a little bit of a knock and he's alright.
Yeah, so
a bit of a headache maybe.
Could have been scary, as we saw Mark Haskins last year, or a couple of years ago, doing the shooting star and hurting himself. So it's not a good start for British wrestling, but we have to say, really good to see the boot camp boys and girls there, and the return of Magnus as well. On the
And they all did the UK proud, really proud to be there and supporting them. Definitely.
Absolutely. So this is I think this is our 6th year now at TNA. I enjoy it every time. I'm still trying to capture from my point of view that magical first time at Liverpool.
It's not going to happen. The stadium's far too big now.
Yeah, I mean, the stadium was pretty much full. There were some empty seats. I mean, we're talking about the real kind of bad seats. They were a little bit empty, but
I do think it doesn't matter how big the arena is. It's the atmosphere of the pack of seats that you're with. I think if everyone around you's getting into it, it's easier to get into it. I think if you're with a bunch of no disrespect, but if you're with a bunch of little kids or people who don't really know it, then I think then we struggle to get the atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, I was in a different part of the arena to yourself, and I was surrounded by quite a few Smarter fans, and as well, down to the right hand side, there were obviously some quite drunken fans who were starting some very unique chants. There was even a Dr. Shelby chant going at one point. Some great chants through the night. The crowd was very passionate in places. Burnt out towards the end. There was no interval
break
between the shows, which I think personally,
so it's like 4 hours straight cheering.
About that. Yeah, and they started off with a cage match for the for Explosion, and that the crowd got very hyped for that. I think it possibly was to the detriment of them towards the main event, because the crowd started getting burnt out towards the end. So a slight negative note from TNA's point of view. I think even a 20-minute interval would have done them a world of good to refresh the crowd. That on a negative note yet again, Wembley Arena, if you go in there, make sure you have a drink and somebody beforehand. £4.50 for a bottle of Bud is ridiculous money. But that's not TNA's fault, that's obviously down to the arena. But generally speaking, I enjoyed my event.
I would definitely go again. If there was another option to go to a TV taping, I'd be there in a shot, because I just think it's much more exciting. I think they put more effort into it. I just think it's a lot less lackluster than a normal house show.
And
myself.
It would be interesting to compare and contrast a WWE taping to this.
Yes.
And maybe we can do that at some point if we're lucky enough to get to be able to afford some tickets. So, really, this has been an on-the-road video cast for myself and Cybil. Thanks to Barney for spending his time, and Andy for spending some time with us as well. We hope you've enjoyed this. If you have enjoyed this, please go to facebook.com/TWS Live and like us and leave your comments or your reviews. Don't forget to find us on iTunes and leave us a review while you're there. You can always follow us at Twitter at TWS Mania and tweet and retweet us. And don't forget to join us live every Sunday and Wednesday night, 7 PM GMT, TotalWrestlingShow.com. Click on chat and join the chat room and listen to us live and interact with the great fans. I've been Dan Barnsdall, she's been Cybil, and we've been on the road.
Yay!